Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled.
I'm Batman.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
Dooby-dooby-doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Wonder Woman! Wonder Woman!
Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
I'm Conor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. I was born in 1518 in the village of Glenfinnan on the shores of Loch Shiel. Now I am immortal.
I'm Captain Kirk.
I'm a doctor. But probably not the one you expect.
Welcome everyone to this special presentation for Geek This Week. This is the Nichelle Nichols panel from the 2016 Fanboy Expo. Nichelle Nichols, famous across the world as Lieutenant Uhura from the original Star Trek series. Nichelle Nichols talks about during this panel about playing this iconic character, how it affected her life, and much more, including talking about her famous meeting with Martin Luther King Jr. and other things that she's done throughout her career, along with such as with NASA. So sit back and enjoy this special Nichelle Nichols panel from the 2016 Fanboy Expo in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I haven't enjoyed being before a group of people since the last time I saw you. and I recognize a lot of you. So how wonderful. Hi, family.
Hello, Nichelle.
Hello.
Guys, if we have questions, if anybody would start forming a line over here with me.
I'm ready.
Then that would be excellent. I know it's a little bit more work, but that way I can get to you guys a lot easier, be up close and personal. You get an easier view of this beautiful lady. All right, we have Starfleet Command here. Ready to ask you a question?
I have heard the story before, and it is a great story, and maybe there's a lot of people here who've never heard it. But would you tell the story about the time you were going to leave the show and Martin Luther King told you you could not?
Oh, I think everybody knows that story. I was with Star Trek, and I wanted to do a number of other things, so I was going to leave the show. And so happened, fate stepped in, and I met a man named Martin Luther King. So he was telling me how he was a fan of, I'm going, oh, Martin Luther King. Woo! And the conversation was going on lovely until I said, yes, I'm going to be leaving the show, and That's as far as they got. You can't. I said, what you talking about, Dr. Martin? In my head, I did. And so I just stood there looking, and he says, don't you understand what that man has created? And I'm going, what man? What man? Oh, you mean our creator that did the show? Yeah. Well, yes, it's a wonderful show. And he said, and why are you leaving? I said, well, I have some other things I want to do. And then he said, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yes, I realize that, and I love the people and everything, but you see, I'm planning on, and he said, I see. And so you're going to leave all those people and that love you and all of that, and the first time they get a chance to be with you on person to person and ask you about blah, blah. And I said, well, I didn't look at it that way. He said, and I suggest you look at it. And as furious as I was becoming with this man, I said, yes, sir, Dr. Martin. And we remained friends from then on. And between you and me, I never regretted it.
Hello, Ms. Nichols. Michael Palmer from Outlaw Renegade Nation. That was actually my question, and I said, go ahead and get in front of me. I got to set up my...
Wait a minute, what?
That was actually my first question, but I would like to know what your part in working with NASA and how that affected you and what that was like.
I'm not quite sure I understood.
Your work with NASA and...
Oh, my work with NASA. I thought I heard NASA come out there, but I thought, what's NASA doing here? This is... I had the great opportunity to meet people at NASA, and we were talking the same language, you know, as you would say, and they asked me if I would help them. They were having a problem. Now this is a major organization and government, you know, and in bringing people in, and especially in the new space program. And I said, why are you having problems? He said, well, women are staying away in droves. And he said, we can't imagine why. And I said, how many women do you have working for you? And he said, well, not nearly enough, hardly any, and none in the space area of it. Maybe they just don't exist. They exist. Well, why aren't they coming forward? I thought when we open the doors, they come forward in droves. I said, yes, one would think. They just don't believe you. Well, what are we going to do? I said, get somebody that they know, that they believe in, whose word they trust, and to go out and recruit them. We've got to recruit people and find the qualified people and so forth. And the sad look on his face just kept going like... And I'm just talking away, and I said, and I'm sure this, you know, you've got people that they'll listen to. And he looked. He says, I'm sure they will listen to you. And I said, who, me? No, not me. He says, that's what they say. I was trapped. Just be careful what you say with your big mouth, you know. The next thing you know, I had a contract with NASA to recruit the first women and minority astronauts for the space shuttle program.
Yeah.
It was the most frightening and the most daunting and the most wonderful thing that I ever really stumbled myself into with my big mouth. And I didn't realize when I did that, then I'm going, I'm gonna do that, and then just do it. I'm talking to myself, because I have two selves. And that's exactly what I did. And I put out the word, and I went on television, because I told somebody at one of the stations what was what I wanted to do and why and what I was under contract in NASA to do. And he said, the hell you say? NASA is opening up? And I said, yeah. How did they get you? I said, I'm the one who opened my big mouth and told them this is what they ought to do. And then they looked at me and said, and I said, and get someone that they like, that they'll appreciate, that they'll believe the word, you know, their word, because it'll be true. And you get that person to go out and he just, that smile just kept coming on his face. Yeah.
What was your
And the next thing I knew, a contract was coming in my room, to my office. And darn it, I took that job and I recruited the first women and minority astronauts for the first time for the space program, and I've never regretted it.
What was your favorite episode to film?
What?
What was your favorite Star Trek episode to film?
Your favorite episode to film of Star Trek?
Oh, that's a simple one. Any time Uhura got to get off the bridge. Yes.
I guess, is William Shatner a very good kisser?
Is William Shatner a very good kisser? William
The answer is yes.
Would you say well practiced? Well practiced?
He would have liked to have practiced.
Hi, this is my first Comic-Con, and I'm just so happy that you were actually the catalyst that brought me here. But I wanted to ask you about the equal pay. I mean, even nowadays...
Get on my speaker.
I wanted to ask you about the equal pay issue for Star Trek. Even now, they're still talking about issues about women getting equal pay. And I really like the story about how you were able to get equal pay. Can you kind of elaborate or talk about that?
You mean at NASA?
No, back in the 60s when you were on Star Trek. Yeah.
I just wouldn't sign a contract without Unfortunately, they wanted me well enough, they wanted me badly enough to come aboard. And, but you know, and so I got equal pay and then some, because I brought to them, to the project, something that they weren't able to get before then. And I could use my name, whatever fame I had at that time, and whoever, you know, who I was, to do the job. And I said, this is why I would be interested in taking that. But if I were a man, you would have offered me more money. So let's start talking turkey here. And I will bring you so many qualified people that you're going to be asking me to stop. And they laughed. Yeah, right. It came to pass. I took the job. I brought the best women and minority people in, and they couldn't turn them down. They said, I can't imagine that it took this long for us to realize that. I said that, and he was going to realize, and I said, people are people. And he said, yeah, I think that's what it is. We don't think in those terms. And it changed a lot. And in that whole area, that era, and they never went back on it. They kept going forward. It was like, and I said, just think of your mother being qualified and coming home and saying she couldn't get the job because she was a woman. And I used that so many times, you would be shocked at the response that I would get from the men who were responsible for getting your talent. They would just look and say, and I said, what? They said, well, yes, but there are women and such, and I said, so is your mother. And I'm not playing the dozens. You have how many sisters? If they're qualified and wanted to, suppose they went anywhere and they said, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that, you're a woman. He said, I'd have to be kicking somebody's. And I said, exactly. But if they came home and told you, I got the job, you'd be saying, wow, great, the world is changing. Well, wow, great, the world is changing. And you know what? Wow, great, and the world keeps changing.
That's right.
And that's the wonderful thing about being a human being.
Out of the original series, my favorite episode is Mirror
I'm
Mirror.
sorry.
Out of all the episodes of the original series, I have to say my favorite episode is Mirror Mirror for a multitude of reasons, but one is watching Uhura slap the taste out of Sulu's mouth. But
I have the slightest idea what he's talking about.
But my question is during the 3 years of filming the original series, what was the one episode that you just hated the most?
It's not so much the one episode that I hated the most. It was all those episodes that Uhura never got to get off the bridge. That Otherwise, it was wonderful.
I've got a couple of questions. And it's real nice meeting you. You've aged real well. And I just wanted to say that back when there was one movie that you was having to read some Klingon on the radio, and you were trying to you was looking through the book trying to figure out what it was, and you was just doing this, and it was one of the funniest things. And I was just wondering what language did they use for Klingon, and what was your relationship with George? Was y'all just
The relationship with George?
yeah, friends? George Takaya? Is that his name?
Oh.
Okay.
All of the people that I was working with, we were buddies.
Buddies.
Yeah, we were friends because we were all professional, and we all respected one another as a professional, and as a person, and as a man, and as a woman, and we forgot. Oh, that's a man, I can't go, well, he won't do that. Oh, that's a woman, she won't know. No, we were human beings, and we went to one another, and it changed a lot of ways that men and women work together with one another, especially in government work. It started there, really. Wherever men and women were working together, prior to that, there was a lot of friction, and suddenly a woman's brain functioned as well as that. A man stops being a dingbat and then treats me like a human being. It came to that. And then all of a sudden, they just said, let's take all that and throw it away and just go to work with each other. And that's what we do till today. That's what we do.
Hi, Ms. Nichols. I have two questions for you. The first is, what was it like to work on the animated series in the 70s?
What was what?
What was it like to work on the animated series in the
If
70s?
you'll take it away from your mouth too tight.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. What was it like to work on the animated series in the 70s, the cartoon? And
Comedy series?
the animated?
Cartoon.
The
Animated.
The cartoon, yeah, in the 70s, the Star Trek cartoon. What was that like?
I did?
Yeah, when you did the voice for the
some of the most wonderful things came out of that. Things that they weren't doing with human beings face to face, they could do in animation, And in animation, because anyone could do an animation if they were good at it, male, female, and it became so, the more men and women worked together on the same projects, or in the same office, or in the same area, you began to respect one another, not for being a man or a woman, in spite of being a man or a woman, but you were so damn good at what you did, and you're as good as I am at this. I didn't know that. And you go to each other and ask questions what you think about it. Suddenly men and women were coming to one another and asking their opinion, something that just never happened before that, because men and women before that never worked together on an equal basis. And suddenly, it wasn't something that was stamped from this day forward, you will work on equal basis. They came to that themselves. We came to that ourselves. We're that good at being human beings.
And then my other question was, do you have a favorite anecdote about Leonard Nimoy? He had passed away recently. And
yes, I do. Next.
What were you doing before Star Trek? Were you acting, or were you doing something entirely different?
I was growing up. I thought I was going to be a ballerina. I took ballet. I went to dance class. That's back when you went to dance class. Well, you took ballet, tap, acrobat, ballet, acrobat, and tap. Well, I'm the world's worst tap dancer. I could do acrobats because I was very super, but didn't want to do acrobat. And acting just was natural with me because you're being, and you can be all kinds of people, and you find areas in acting that are fascinating to you and that you grow with. And you find yourself wanting to read good books as a young person, and seeking out more information and discussing it on an adult level, and bringing things to it, and talking with adults that don't look down on you. And no. And I came from a family, my mother and father were like that. But when my mother and father were young, they're a woman doctor, you just didn't. A woman? No, you mean a nurse. No, she's a doctor. And today you would never say that. But there was a time when women had their place. And today, women certainly do. That's anywhere they want to go. And what's wonderful about that is men are the first ones to say, hey, yes, yeah, and go to a woman too. You went to your mother, and she was a woman, and I used to preach my head off about that, And, but men stopped being boys and became men. And they had to understand girls stopped being little girls and became women. And my God, today we are men and women together, and isn't that a beautiful thing? And we have, who do we have to thank for it? Each other. Because it took men to accept women other than father, son, daughter, mother. But as a human being with a brain, And we no longer, women, no longer feel like you have to go to a man to find out something that they don't know. They know they can. And when we go to a man today, he doesn't go, well, you know, he doesn't rise to and you're really want to know that, you know, oh, why did you want to know, dear? You know, we are equals today. And we enjoy it. I enjoy a man who's smarter than I am. There aren't that many, though. That's a little bad thing. But we are, and I'll go to a man and ask for a question to get the right answer in a minute. I don't feel like I have to show the world that, you know, I, a woman, am smart enough to do. If you are, just do it.
Well, your
And
presence was
men
so
suddenly
groundbreaking.
realize, I'm sorry, men suddenly realize the same thing. And that's why we're men and women together, and I love it. And thank you.
Your starring role on television was so groundbreaking. I'm just curious to know, how did viewers respond at the time with your leading role?
I'm not sure that I could understand you. Is the mic too close?
Your presence on TV was really groundbreaking for you as a Black woman. I'm wondering how viewers or even community members responded at the time during the 60s when you were first on.
With you having such a prominent role on the original series as a Black woman, just how did the community react to it?
My role, Stain.
You heard Lieutenant Ogre say.
Stay, please. I think that I had parents that were unique, and there was six of us kids, and we were taught from coming right behind one another that we could be or do anything that we wanted to. We could be anybody, anything we wanted to be. We could do that. We could achieve it. Whether you are a man or a woman. And that was to be respected not only by men and women singularly, but by families. I remember being a kid and going to school and saying something about my aunt who was a doctor, and the kids giggled. And I said, what? And they said, your aunt's not a doctor. She's a woman. She can't be a doctor. And that's what, I almost hurt her. But I understood that was how, back when I was a kid, that was how we came up. Believing that women could do certain things that men couldn't do. Take care of the house, have children, birth the kids, raise them, do things that... And women believe that men were not men if they did what women did. Well, we finally came to the conclusion that that's all bull. And, well, his eyes went up, so I had to. But I had to put, I had come to that realization because from the selfish point of view, I, a woman, wanted to do a lot of things that at that time, women just didn't do that. But I went to my mother and father and told them what I was working on and doing, and my father would put aside whatever they're doing and listen to me and talk to me and question me on it. And he said, well, let's see if that works for you. Does that work for you? And I'd say yes. And if he didn't think it was going to work for me, he'd give me some really hard questions and put it to me, and I had to prove it. And that's how I grew up. Not fighting it, but examining it and proving it to myself. You know, because a lot of times girls would say automatically, oh, I'd love to do that, but I can't do it, I'm a woman. They'll never let me do it. I'm a woman, or I'm a girl. And we learned separately and equally, because there were men who would take that girl aside and said, by God, don't you let anybody tell you you cannot do it. Why? Because you're a girl, you're a woman. And that would be a man talking to her. Women, I know times when, because I came through that time, when girls would look up at him, you know, and it'd be her brother telling her, what do you mean you can't do that? You do so-and-so better than I do. You know, I come to you about things and you don't talk to me that way, you know. And we can't, so what I'm saying, you can become anything that you want to become if you put your mind and heart into it. And if you do, you might get there and find out, this is what I want to do. But you might get there and find out, well, that was interesting, but I don't think I want to do that. But it's not something because you were a woman, or a little boy, or, you know, or something that somebody told you you couldn't do it because. There is no such thing as because that makes anything worthwhile saying you can't do that. And I came from 6 kids, and we all were taught that by my mother and father, and we came out knowing that we could do anything and become anything that we want to if we applied ourselves. And that's a lot of work. And nothing comes easy. It wasn't easy for him, and it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't easy for her, and it wasn't easy for you, won't be easy for you. But boy, when you finish, when you get it, it is so rewarding because you did it. And it's worthwhile doing.
In this newest portrayal of these new reboot Star Treks, do you have any opinion about the current portrayal of your original character?
About the what?
Do you have any opinions of the current portrayal of your original character in these new rebooted Star Treks?
The what?
In the new movies, where they've got
Oh, the
Uhura,
current?
the newer movies.
Yeah. Have you seen the new movies at all? The ones by J.J. Abrams?
No.
They're good. They're actually good.
I heard they're good, but I know the people that are in them.
So you haven't seen the new
And
you
some
yet?
of them. What?
So you haven't seen the new you? There's a...
Oh, who's the new me?
Zoe.
Oh, what?
Zoe Saldana.
Oh, Zoe Saldana. Oh, she called me. Yes, I get a call from her and she said, Miss Nichols, I said, this is Zoe Saldana, you don't know me, but. And I said, just hold on there. Yes, I do know you, and don't you dare call me Miss Nichols. It's Nichelle to you. What are you calling me for? I'm calling to tell you that I just got this and I'm doing so and so. And when I first got it, they told me a guy told me I couldn't do it because I was a girl. And I told them Nichelle Nichols did everything she wanted to do because she was a girl and not because she was a person and not because she was a girl and not a man or a woman, but what you know what I'm talking about. And I just thought that was so wonderful because she actually, I had not met her, and she actually got my phone number and called me and said, you may not know who I am. My name is Zoe Saldana, but because I said, oh yeah, and I told her all about herself. And I said, I'm so proud of you. What are you calling me for? She said, I wanted to call and tell you I was doing this and that my influence growing up was you. And I might never have done it. And I'm on the phone, you know, I should have said, oh, that's wonderful and so fun. And tears are coming down my eyes. And I'm going, oh, really? Because you heard me speak. Yeah. I think that's wonderful. And we became good friends, and she's such wonderful, wonderful. And she said, have you got a cold? And I said, yes, I think.
Nichelle Nichols, everybody.
Lying isn't always a bad thing if it's for the right cause. A lie like, I really didn't like this when you really loved it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nichelle Nichols.
Thank you, and live long and prosper.
You can do the hand thing for us? Can you do the hand thing for us?
And that's what I did.
She got it, guys. Nailed that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so are you going to be publishing that anywhere?